There we go. Let me just pull back up. Okay, also this is gonna probably take up memory. We're just gonna try to keep as little stuff, but there we go. Now it should be.
Hey, at least it's just casting. You know, it's not like actually.
Dying light, dying.
Hey, listen. You know,
What?
whatever. Yes. Hello, welcome to Gamers, Gals, and my non-binary pals.
Bobby's Losses and Lassos, Gamers Gals, my non-binary pals. What are the other ones that I've heard?
Sup.
Burskies. Select Adventure. Ooh.
Yeah, because there's the Great Ace Attorney Adventures and the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. So we're doing this one, which is, I think it's mostly in Japan and a little bit in the UK, and then the second is the jury trials.
Okay.
We're playing Ace Attorney, in case it wasn't obvious. Yes, we actually get a cinematic.
I don't know if that's weird in Ace Attorney, because I haven't played any of them, and you played basically all of them. That's
Well,
why
almost all of them took place in the modern day, more or less. Nobody had, like, a cell phone outside of, like, a fucking Nokia brick, but, like...
I mean the cinematic.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean...
You go, whoa, they're the cinematic. For all I know, everything could... But for all I know, everything could have been cinematic. I played basically none of them. You played basically all of them. So when Jen said, hey, you should play Ace Attorney, I said, only if I can grab you, because you actually know what you're doing.
Man is dead. Oh, yes, there is one thing that you need to be prepared for. That's me, by the way. Everybody's name is a pun.
I see why you enjoyed it.
Yes. Almost every witness and some of the murderers are puns. So, episode 1. Bienvenue le carnaval. The Adventure of the Great Departure.
You know, like, I guess it must literally be this game. So, like, I remember watching RT playthrough on them, and I don't think there is a joke with Mask Star to Mask. I don't think that's a joke. And I'm like,
ooh, Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber, 5.
oh, we're the 5th?
I still can't believe it. Can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate?
We did shoot a guy.
Hey.
Now I know we didn't shoot a guy. We just happened to have a gun in our hand as a guy got
Believe
shot.
it or not, that actually gets explained incredibly poorly. I played through, for anyone that walked in before this point or is watching the VOD, I did play through the first trial and then put it down because I didn't have enough time to play it, so now I know more or less what happens in the first trial, though it's been like 6 months. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Sorry? Oh, I have autoplay. I didn't know that was an option. My name is Ryanosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at Imperial Glenade University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough. He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer.
Is there a
you?
draft in here, or is that dude just so cool that his bandana?
I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. And no, he's just that cool.
Okay.
Lawyer? Yeah. And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So hold your tongue.
That's only an American thing. Is that also a thing overseas?
They basically explain that this is when Britain and Japan are forming like a deep cooperative bond, and as a show of unity, they're starting to adopt Western-style judicial systems.
Okay.
They explain this literally as we go through, but basically, yeah, this is like the first court trial proper that Japan has ever had.
Makes you feel special.
Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryanosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. I mean, I believe you. I know you're innocent.
Well, you look really guilty right now.
Kazumi Asogi, my best friend, also has a second year at Kazuma, not Kazumi. I just immediately went to Persona. Also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I, a star student in fact. And even a qualified lawyer. Impressive considering he's still an undergrad. The classic Japanese anime trope of everybody being an accomplished X while they're still in grad school, or in high school. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much, yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago, but I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago? Yes, that's when all this started.
You shot someone.
Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're gonna get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and success in the court.
Sim? This really feels like a dating sim scene right now.
We're going out to lunch at a English-style cafe to celebrate the fact that he is getting to go study abroad in England.
I can tell, just say, this looks like this should be...
It kind of does, yeah.
Like a visual novel dating sim.
You'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud, as your friend. ... as your friend. There's not a soul in the universe who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. Wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow, then. Partner.
Hard.
Oh my god, they were partners. It was straight after that. That's when it happened.
I shot the dude.
Asogi, may I have a word? She literally did the, like, piece disappears. Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. Not quite yet, Megan. Not quite yet.
That's why I named it that second, because I didn't know what else to name the
stream. Oh, no, that's fair. Never mind that for now. Asogi. Yeah, we've been playing this game for all of, like, 3 minutes, and I've already been accused of murdering my professor in cold blood.
Hey, it's been 9 minutes. Or 8 minutes, either way.
You should go immediately to the judge's chambers.
To be fair, you did also have a gun in your hand.
To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. The advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. Don't you just hate it when you're accused of murder? Yeah, it's only like I was standing in front of the corpse while holding a gun and looking in his general direction. Nothing. It's all circumstantial. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryanosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thank you, Kazuma.
Yeah, hasn't that ever happened to you, just walking around with your trusty revolver?
It's not even my revolver.
With your revolver in feudal Japan?
Oh, this is awkward.
It's those Second Amendment rights, you know?
If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryanosuke Naruhodo, I believe? Yes, yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotaba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikotaba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and him are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked.
Because...
And never granted again.
Because...
What? Ah, as I suspected. You were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered, and I'll be hung?
Hanged?
Maybe both.
If it's hung, we already would be. They're not going to change things.
No, the other. Anyway, but I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. Dude, you could just tell me right now. But, then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do. We're getting married.
Yes, we gotta marry the judge.
What will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant. The court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Also, no war crimes, just
murdering your professor with a gun.
My professor might have also been from Great Britain, so it becomes an international incident.
Spoilers. For like 2 minutes from now.
Yeah. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving! There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway.
Would you really be found guilty if you're like 2 minutes late to...
At minimum, nowadays, you'd be like held in contempt, but that's
especially if standing right outside the room.
This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. Yeah, I like appreciate that they're trying to like make it all about Kazuma, but I will also be dead. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial.
Okay, so being late to a court is bad. But if you're sitting right outside of the thing, talking with someone, would they really be like, how dare you be 1 minute late outside the door?
Japan don't give a fuck, honestly. They have a 95% conviction rate for a reason. They're willing to beat it out of people.
But this isn't about getting a conviction. This is about you sitting one foot in front of the door. This is
a courtroom. Doesn't look sketched at all.
We only see like a corner of it.
No, I mean, his eyes just darting all over the place. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there.
One thing I'm gonna do.
The powers that be have demanded there be a secret trial. Secret trial?
I just realized I said it for like most other games I play, which are not quiet like text-based things. So I had to bump it up a little bit so you could actually like hear the noises that it is.
Trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. Why can't anyone just give me a fucking answer? I need to concentrate. It's about to begin.
Very simple. You want to talk about murder?
There we go. My boy Winston Payne in his Japan form. Court will now hear the trial of Ryanosuke Naruhodo. Ah, yes, it's ouchie now. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a gene. That's correct, Your Excellency. I had made the request myself. Normal procedures for the defense and defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. And this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do?
You got this.
The hairband flows in the non-existent wind. Yep, it's magical Japan today. They also allow him to bring a katana into the courtroom. He's just... As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who I am.
Yes!
What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I Ryanosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What?
It's like, even if I do die...
What are you playing at, Ryanosuke? Professor Mikotaba told me everything, just now before the trial. He did... What? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off? No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Since Professor Mikotaba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel, really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Hmm? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. Yes, the first objection of the game. In fact, my mind's completely blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of the Judicature of Japan.
Does the prosecutor not know what he's being...
I really hope that was just a Snyder mark and not him being a fucking idiot.
I don't even know how to problem.
Like, the first defense lawyers in every one of these games is a member of the Payne family. I guess this is the original Payne. And they're always horrifically inept, and they always have this very high-pitched voice that they shout objection in. You'll see it, I'm sure. But, yeah, I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected while present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you've undertaken. My competence? What's that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So let's start with the very simplest of questions. Yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Yanosuke?
Documents.
Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court records with the press of R.
We're in court.
You ever find that you've forgotten something, just consult it. It's all in there. You just have to press R for the court record. Alright. There's no time to lose. List of evidence you've collected. Now try switching between people. Found information about the victim here. John H. Wilson, the victim in this case, who was a visiting professor of medicine at Ume University from the British Empire.
I'll just force it from something that's happening under your
So remember, everything to do with current case can be found in the court record. Now you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, and press X to present.
Yes!
Yes! The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England invited to Ume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. As most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone that hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil.
can everyone have
You two are both undergraduates at Imperial Humane University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these peculiarities.
You did have a gun in your hand. It's not like they just planted a gun on you.
Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime.
With a gun in your hand.
Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. Think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow, then. Pard. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. I mean, if he's from your university, it's not as weird. So I went to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. Miyanosuke, in the court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. Evidence, but how? Find a piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death, and present it.
Yes!
Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. I'm going to read you imbecile. It's a post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as that's not going to be tested on me this later. This is the so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. Yes, photographs are brand new as it is.
Okay, but why do they get so close to the photograph?
As you can clearly discern, scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by a powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record.
Will there be any on us? Unless that doesn't work.
Well, it would be on your hand, and I don't think they have GSR tests at this point.
Look, listen, I'm using brain.
No, like, if this was the modern day, yes. If I was the one that pulled the trigger, I would have gunpowder residue in my hands. But...
Also, GSR.
Gunshot residue.
I'm just saying, bougie.
Listen, man, I like these crime drama stuff. Anyway, we're starting the trial. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court of the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it then. I think he may have worked out what the professor had in mind. Professor? You mean Dr. Nikotaba? Yes, clearly you're a defense lawyer today, not me, but that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give would greatly be appreciated. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats.
Easier said than done.
Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Damn. Adding the headband. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please.
He's the murderer.
Hosanaga. Of
No,
course, my name is Satoru Hosanaga. I am the head waiter at the Western-style restaurant called Le Carnival. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. This man is dying of consumption. Well, it really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago. Understood. Hosanaga-san, will you kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident? At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring, maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. in the day in question. We had a few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over. There were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits with my memory of it, too. And yet there was hardly anyone else left in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Hold on, let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up the gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, amateur. But next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ranosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must quietly listen to the witness. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today. Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did you just say? There was no one else. What's the matter? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at the table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? I suppose I am. Never have gotten to Yume University otherwise. But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know? If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll be seriously regretting it when you're found guilty. Alright, you scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. There is something I want to say. Just going to shut my eyes and say it.
Yes!
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance that you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy?
Maybe because of the blood loss.
No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone.
That tells me literally nothing. There's one
I know.
exit, nothing else.
I
on
know,
there.
he's
There's
such a...
no one else in the room. It was just
We
a
haven't
single
exactly
dude.
figured out evidence yet. It's too early on. You're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir.
I scroll back of my business card, put a single X, which proves that this witness was alone on
The
it.
court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? Now he's been completely calm and collected until now. Something seriously seems to have shaken him. I think it's the consumption. The guy's got TB and he's coughing it up in the courtroom. So, the court has now heard a precis of the case. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you're determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. But if there were witnesses at the scene of the crime, wouldn't that mean there were other people in the restaurant?
Well, yes, there's other 3 tables. Hell, he literally brought all this up. It's just
No,
there
I
was
know,
no one
it's
else
just-
sitting at the table
okay.
with him.
What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage, but for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikatama said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing to now throw that trust back in my face? Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryanosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. We'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Indeed. Prosecutor Ouchi, please continue with proceedings. Tisk, well, you are warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witnesses at once. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court.
On what ones?
Yes, sir. General Nippon's Imperial Army Sergeant Ayesanosa, reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and the conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Curio Korakuta at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table, the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea at the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and not infrequently converse with the interested parties regarding the curios in which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at Le Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets Le Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Oh, cool, we got a chatbot.
Oh boy. Give me a second. You continue on with that.
Yep.
Go
Great.
ban them.
I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. That was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearms, sir. This man is as impossible to understand as the other. Sorry. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment he shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. I think you might have fucked with the screen.
No, don't worry. I actually clicked on something.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure. Sorry.
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
Now the court will hear from your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw, the precise moment the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by, ready to report, sir. Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon.
Oh, I can't actually get rid of it, but I can leave it, block it, and
Hey, that's just what I wanted to make sure.
call it a dingus.
What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. That black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back the cowardly little weasel. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Well, so you, Sergeant Noza, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. With what times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of
just
day.
bring anything into the court.
Yeah, apparently Japan is just really light. Well, they haven't invented metal detectors yet.
The dude pulls it out
and
and
didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryanosuke? Yes. All I did was pick up the gun I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant when I noticed an English-made gun was sitting next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, bang! Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is. Ryanosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimonies of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. The It's time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony in court is just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial.
Yes!
Raises hand slowly. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? The defense demands its right to a cross-examination. I timed the person out. I am moderator.
Good job, Megan. Proud of
Good
you.
job, Meg. You're good. Dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? Prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
The defense is exerting its right to cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. He's so commanding. Hey, Jen. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins. But I don't even know what I have to do at a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire that gun, which means that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it, and the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. And all you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go. Don't let them beat you.
I'm already just gonna assume it's the layout.
What?
I'm already gonna assume it's the business card with the layout, and that's gonna be like, oh, he wasn't actually facing the direction of it.
No, actually, the evidence has already been presented to us. The soldier states that we shot him in the back, but we have a photo of him being shot in the front.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. I just heard that he saw the exact moment.
I was ingesting a beefsteak, yada. I was extolling the virtues. At that precise moment, the firearm was discharged. I observed it with my own eyes. Cadet fired on the Englishman and from the back.
Yes!
So we press him on it. So this black uniformed university cadet, you're saying that was you. I've just had about enough of your sauce, cadet. Who else do you see around here in a black uniform, huh?
Person next to me.
Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits that description, but, it was you little weasel. You unloaded the firearm on that man. From behind his back. You call yourself a citizen of the great empire of Nippon? You disgust me. What is it? I'm not quite sure. It's something the sergeant said earlier, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind. In that case, check back over the details of the evidence. And if you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court. Thrust it in the witness's face and make him choke on it. Poor phrasing. Okay, so we go back to the previous one, and we're going to present the photograph.
Yes!
Raise his hand. What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting some photographic print in my mustache? Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. It's just, what nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us we don't already know? Well, obviously. That, you know what I want to say about the original comment now. This proves beyond a doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in the Grand Court. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. Couldn't be more plain. Spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma?
Quite cool.
What are you talking about? It's apparent from the single glance at this photographic print provided by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the surgeon's statement. What? Sergeant, yes and no, sir. Yes, sir. What is it, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian and from the back. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I'm in the process of replaying FF7 remake. Jesus.
Oh, the remake.
I witnessed the crying with my own military eye. Great
Yes!
But no, that can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Take a close look at the print.
Yeah, why are we doing this?
Because we don't want to get our friend in trouble.
I know, but just why are we doing this here? Dang it.
Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? I think this sums up the first chapter in a nutshell in a single image. Ooh, what the... What's that? Something just popped up from behind his back and pushed it down again. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony of the court has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Yesanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom.
Listen, I've seen bits of the other one. You never straight up insult me about prosecutor.
He's got a bit of swagger, you know? What can I say?
Once again, why aren't we playing as that guy? He has a flowing bandana.
We're trying to see our character arc of being the scared, naive boy to becoming him, but without the stupid bandana. Hopefully. This is what being an Ace Attorney is all about. They said the title.
Oh, his bandana defies physics.
But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I have already made that quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Indeed. Hoai-era Koban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop or else I die. In the hopes of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from me. On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my Hoai treasure. Believe that he would purchasing such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with a little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished? Hunting around under the table, I was, in case mayhap it had fallen down there, and then it happened. The headband is really sweet, though, I agree.
You were the one who was just dissing the headband like 2 seconds ago.
I can agree with it, but also think it's stupid. Like, it's cool, but it's stupid.
You're stupid.
I know I am. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was only concerned with finding my absconded Hoai treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoai Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. I am sure everyone present is aware. This case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Professor Ouchie? Prosecutor Ouchie. Ooh. Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he'll find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explained. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryanosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind your prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Baby. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out of your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name Ido. It appears that those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido. Tension! Your father is about to quell the enemy. Trevor. Your father. Not watching Learn, my boy.
Alright, testimony number 2.
The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was. That young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman over and out.
Yes!
Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman, a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of court and speak accordingly. We are not to listen to your fantasies. It is evidence beyond all reason that the victim was alone at the time of Indeed, at the table on which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident.
That's not really good for this.
Would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. Okay. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. I don't understand. What's going on here? Dude just got Mandela affected. It's not possible that nobody else saw the woman. Well, before said the same thing. He mentions that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. Witnesses' testimonies we have just heard leave no room for further doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Taketsuchi Ouchi, would have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick. Understood? Tisk, rules can be so unbending at times. Cross-examination. Alright, even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Pointing his gun at the foreign man he was. Wilson on that. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
As you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I'm feeling a growing callous in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have been caught a glimpse of this woman. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was. This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It's a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. At a clinic? Yes, that would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon past 1 p.m. Very day of the incident. So the victim went to a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation can be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it has no real bearing on the case. Yes, ask for the report card.
Yes!
If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous.
Yeah.
Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant drove no concern.
Objection!
Yeah.
Whether or not they are of concern is for us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for this condition of evidence. So basically they said that he's got a medical report card stating that he showed up late for lunch because he was at a doctor's appointment beforehand. And they requested for it to be submitted to evidence.
Really?
What we need to do is right now some clues. So let's look at this report card. Oh, I can't look at it because we have to explore things. Alright. The day of the festival is already fading. Perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate that for the accused, Corey Kuda-san. Alright, so, if we look at this... Oh, I can't examine it. Examine. This doesn't really help. I'm not allowed to flip it back over. Because my thought was, doesn't that steak look really eaten? But then, this one isn't? I've dispatched the Englishman. So, he was dining alone.
Yeah.
So we'll press it.
Yes!
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? Victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone? But I did. Forgive me for the position I placed you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? Let's not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statement. As you can be clearly seen, there is only a single beef steak on the victim's table. A meal for one. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? To be perfectly honest, I have no idea.
Conspiracy.
Alright, so I think I want to present the new photo of carbonated water and steak.
Yes!
I fucked up.
So yeah, they're all talking about the new photo. I'm sure the old photo.
That's probably for the best, yeah.
If they're all like, look at this new photo, like, proves this. You want to show the old photo?
Yeah. That's also not right. Damn, the judge should burn me.
I guess we're thinking the same thing.
No, it never says anything unless you're correct, and I can't examine the report
That's
card.
like one. Pretty sure this is. What are the other statements that I have? There's not this one.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning. Okay. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man was that landed black. He said he was on
Yes!
the floor. Maybe that's the point. Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. I told you already. Obviously, as the culprit, it's the only way you could explain it away. I just finished drinking my coffee and I was about to leave the restaurant. I noticed the gun was on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And in exactly that moment, a gunshot rang in my ears. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry, what do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the crowbar from the floor and find myself in an equal testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you, with pistol in hand standing over the foreigner. Maybe I can present the business card.
Yes!
Nope. God damn it.
Whichever everything game.
I'm fucking stupid.
Are we or this game?
And there are a couple of these that is like super bizarre in what they want and where. One who was doing all by himself. Therefore no other could have dispatched the Englishman. We already presented both photos. The report card wouldn't prove that he was dining alone. The business card wouldn't provide that he was dead.
The thing is, it's like, so wait. I was going to say, you can, like, present people, right? Because the way you said there are 3 tables.
Oh yeah, maybe I want to present.
Well, I was going to say, be back before you present. Be the other person's statement.
Oh, you're saying.
Because what if precise moment firearms discharge? No. Okay, maybe it was further. When it says, furthermore, visual search of the premises at the time frame, you were the only personal present.
Let me see if I can present. I can't present.
Then never mind. I don't know. This game is huge.
Let's press one.
Yes!
I must have noticed somebody else. Oh my god, stop it.
Objection!
Alright, we worked. Yep, and that's how we got. Yep, and that's how we got the medical record. And it just goes back to the same loop.
Wow. Great.
You know what, let's go back to the first one and press the guy on his statement that it's almost the exact same thing.
Yes!
See what he says there. No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I'll try that gun. I have a difference of opinion on that. The opinions of any uniformed officer to that of a fledgling cadet? I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it's an undeniable fact that I did blink.
What is it supposed to prove?
he's basically saying that you could say whatever you want. It did happen. So therefore, he's saying, I didn't shoot that guy. He's saying, I did. The guy was shot. Sounded far on ringing in my ears at the very next moment. By you waving the gun at the Englishman. Mention the accused in the most incriminating position as well. And then cut back to his testimony. Alright. So then let's press him on the last one.
Yes!
Because sometimes you have to press them before they give you the evidence to actually expose them. I clearly remember. A woman. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see your dining companions, it's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, defendant, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry. The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, fails to do the same thing. He also stated the victim is alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. If no such proof exists, the prosecution demands no further mention of this phantom woman. It's a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Alright, what do you got to say, Kazuma? Excellent work. We gleaned some new information. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report. Oh my god, we had to exhaust all the presses in order for us to be able to examine the report card to prove a discrepancy.
This game.
Sometimes it's done. But it's just because we're in the fucking tutorial. Yes, I know how to rotate things. It's teaching me how to use the joysticks to rotate and select things. I need to go to the next one. Can I do it now? Nope, I have to wait a little. Yes, yes. Okay, so... It says Hota Clinic. I hate clinics. Almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I've ever had in my life. Jesus, lucky. Even though I felt awful already, I had this hideous injection in my right arm. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have only had one cold in their whole life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. Oh, excuse me.
You good?
Yeah, I got the burps. Ready? Open!
Yeah, but who folds it like that at the very back?
Let's have a look. Ah, an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean like he had a tooth taken out? Would seem so. Just before the incident, he had had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. It's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. There's a cautionary note from medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects are passed. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind.
More than any photo.
Yeah. So now we go back over the testimony.
That's why there is only the one. Whoa.
Yes!
Yes!
No?
Well, I think, What are you wittering about, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? Wish I could. But first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Suke? Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out that when you raised your hand straight up like that so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright. Karakuda-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim. I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But, let's see if I can explain this in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. And whatever it may or may not have been done before that time is completely irrelevant. But, that's, remember, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. The witness testimonies in the court have been heard and clear and concise. Medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides the pale-faced pupil who could possibly have perpetrated the crime. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case. Do you really believe that? Yep. That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hota Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. Dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something? Perhaps if I told you the victim had just had a tooth extracted. What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while the anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't. Karakuda-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of anesthetic. Yeah, we actually got the desk slap right. What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table. Objection! Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables at this restaurant's case have turned. Wouldn't you have agreed? Yes, most definitely. So just having undergone some dental surgery, the victim wasn't able to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who in fact was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will now hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I'm assuming you're ready, counsel? Counsel? Oh, that's me. Alright, we have to answer this question. This is the start of turning your trial around. Let's see what is made of. So, person eating the victim's steak. Me! And as of yet, unknown third party. I just like that the option is me. I ate the steak.
I mean, it's entirely possible. You literally talked about meat right.
Objection. You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
Yes!
There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything, yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. I ask that we be stricken from the court record.
You can ask politely. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
Jesus. If you want to continue with this, we'll lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. Kazuma,
Maybe don't pull
are
out
you
the sword.
insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry,
Well-
Council. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them, those two witnesses on the stand. What? What are you talking about? Isn't there 2.5 witnesses? Does the baby count?
Was the baby there during?
I don't know. We actually haven't clarified that. We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if that turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you'll be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you'll also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No, no, no! No, negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they, told us. Oh. What? There's a government conspiracy. Oh, no, you were just following orders? Now hold on, lad. I was, say you never saw the gentlewoman? When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Attention!
What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order, counsel, explain what's going on here. It's painfully clear now. We tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Not quite. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. Also, what a great kid. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Yanosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there's only a handful of possibilities. You've been the government, the military, or the police. That's right, we already have a government conspiracy in case 1. Well, any ideas on who might be behind this? We can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. Alright, we need evidence that proves whoever did wield this power here. Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue. Well, it's not the only piece of evidence we have. We need to re-examine everything. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait. Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god, I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about this? Well, Your Excellency, no time to think. I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes to my head. Can we examine this further? Oh yes, we can. Plan of the restaurant raises a number of questions. It's supposed to show the relative position of everything moments before the incident, but there's nothing to show the woman you say. There, exactly. That's not all. Look here in the upper left where it says kitchen. Yes. No one would use those complicated characters to write kitchen, especially not if they were in a hurry. I mean, you don't remember those characters yourself, don't you? Study harder, Yanosuke. Speed. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Well, that's unexpected. Look, do you see it says the witness's name here, Satoru Hosonaga? Well, yes, the business cards do tend to show their name. That's the point. It's not the name that's unexpected, it's his job title. The waiter is actually the chief of police.
Sick.
Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga for Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau.
Yeah, I don't know why he
Inspector.
chose his business card.
I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. They're wielding it somehow. The waiter's business card information has been updated. Congratulations, we now can the proper person.
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga, the waiter who took the stand earlier.
Attention!
Poppycock. What possibilities? You heard me. Poppycock.
So what?
Poppycock.
No, I read it. I saw it. I just had to be dramatic. Alex, let me be dramatic.
What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not have possibly had that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man was really a waiter. What? If he truly were? Come on, Ryanosuke, time to hit the court with the truth.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree, it shows a great deal of attention to detail. I'm not sure what we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, it's the back of the card. The back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yes. It's the front with the back of the card. It's telling us where the detail is.
The other side. Just say the other side.
Flip it over. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched a plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of the business card reveals that the man in question's profession, his true profession, the waiter's profession? Good gracious. That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? Yo, the Chief of Police is dying of consumption. Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned.
And it's got non-specific persistent cough disorder.
So witnesses there in the stand was in fact the waiter who gave you the orders? Or was it the one who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Hold it.
The waiter.
Yep. Inspector Hosonaga? I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working at a restaurant waiter? Oh, of course. Your salary must be terrible. You were working undercover. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? You know, just, my salary is terrible. Oh yeah, that makes sense. That would be classified information, which I'm not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to the case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will have to amend your testimony for the court. Of course. You have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner, therefore I'm led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. Can we hold police in contempt of court?
I don't know.
As I suspected.
Or a shot.
Yeah, I suppose. Bang! Note this doesn't take place.
I was going to say.
As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. Yo, I love the fact that we spent the entire first hour and a half of the case gaslighting Ryanosuke.
That's like the cute girl boss, hell yeah.
It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. Excuse me. But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. An English woman is the primary suspect. Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. She is not a British princess. I'll just spoil that. She is very well dressed and very well spoken, but she is not a British princess. No, I think it's mostly just murders overseas cause national and international incidents. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean? UMA University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the Medical Faculty Research Laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? Dang, this is not a Elizabeth II. Elizabeth shot a man in cold blood. You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. And the court demands you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. Come on, this is way too early for Elizabeth II. This is time-traveling Princess Diana. This is Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of UMA University's medical facility. What is happening here?
Yeah, good question. At this point, pretty much everyone is...
I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, the victim was dying alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send a telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir? You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem? Nothing will get in my way.
Not even the black lung.
Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yeah. Your Excellency. Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before we convene. To be continued.
Wow, we already beat the game?
Yeah, I know, right? Congratulations, we've hit the first half of first case.
Sick.
We can quit at any time, so we'll go into 11 and we'll...
Okay.
2nd of November, 11:38 a.m. 22nd of November, Jesus. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants Antechamber 5. Excellent work, Rihanna Suke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. That sounds like an anatomical issue.
There's a lot of issues going on with this case.
It's almost unbelievable looking at you there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. That's literally the response.
That's the rest of your life, dude.
Anyway, it's looking like we've exposed your phantom lady at least. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain. Is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying. Yes, you have, haven't you? I may not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are the one thing I was sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. And just after I bent down to pick it up, bang! Wait. This man said he helped investigating flawlessly while hiding a freaking witness. Listen, when orders come for higher-ups, especially the government, I don't think you really fuck with that. I agree. But, yeah. Thank you, Megan, for adding the bang every time it goes off. The waiter ran over looking at white as a sheet. He bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking about the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. It is simply my job to. Thank you, Megan. I'd just love to see Megan type bang like 60 times a second every time you play a shooter game. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Shut the fuck up, you tried to get me fucked. Did you? Professor Mikotoba!
He didn't try and... Oh, that. Okay. I wasn't sure which one we were
We
talking
need that. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy, our justice system even more so, which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all that they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study toward a Great Britain being cancelled. No, I refuse to participate in Fortnite. Trevor can do it all that he wants.
No, I'm not doing Fortnite. Listen, we do have plans for shooters. Not that. What do I say? Other games. Got Persona 5, Strikers.
That's kind of a shooter.
Yeah.
I shouldn't waste everybody's time by going overseas to study anymore. What are you saying?
That would have been a shooter if it wasn't for the specifically hard code. Didn't
So
let me
that's your
start.
stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma? Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, we said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't we? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Play the worst COD? No! Isn't that just the most recent
I was
COD?
going to say the newest one where you have to install 2 games to play 1 game.
Isn't it like 250 gigabytes to
Yeah.
get the game running? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, we do have a plan for a shooter. But so after Dying Light is going to be Digimon Dawn Dusk, and then after that I want to do Titanfall 2.
I mean, Digimon Dawn Dusk is kind of a shooter because you can make a lot of people with guns.
Alex, if that's the case, there's a million shooters out there.
So basically what happened is the new Call of Duty requires the previous Call of Duty for all of its functions, so you need to install the first
Modern
one, which
Warfare
is...
2, to install Modern Warfare 3, play through a campaign that was hastily made, and repeats objectives and maps often. Nerve just basically said, wow, this is...
So the first Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is like, what, 150 gigs?
Something
And the
like
second one is about 100 gigs, totaling to about 250 gigs just to run one game. Listen, Baldur's Gate is like only 150 gigs. That's still a fucking lot. But at least it isn't Call of Duty, and they actually have a good campaign. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one from England. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. Crowdfund a computer for Trevor just to run COD. Let's not forget what we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement in our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I have no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight right to the last. Not that you'll win, but that you'll put up a good fight. Now then, I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama.
Yeah,
I'll start playing the lottery to earn that money. Jen, I'm sorry, but if you hit the lottery, like, big time, I don't think you should spend it on COD, even if it's on Trevor. I respect you doing with your money.
Respect
with
it,
you what you
do
wish.
literally anything else.
Exactly. Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside.
Right, it's like this thing.
What?
Just like I do. I talked post up about the PA.
Oh. Excuse me. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already been found guilty. Look, I have faith in you. It makes one of us. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. He's the kind of true friend he is. This isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. If I win $1 billion, we're all getting COD computers. You know what? If you're getting $1 billion, I'll support that. COD stream brilliant.
That's her statement.
Listen, if she hits $1 billion, I'll do whatever she wants.
Cool, this is your life now.
You know what? If that's the case, I could do with it.
Specifically, Ace Attorney.
I could deal with it. These are good games, minus the one.
Alex, you have to. In one of the games, you have to cross-examine the testimony of a whale.
I cross-examined a parrot once. It wasn't that bad.
A parrot actually speaks.
Yeah. Professor Ouchi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, I don't know what that means, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Oh, he's making a jab at us.
I sort of figured it was at us, but also it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think I should look up what look up this word.
Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Do you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation flounders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. Damn!
He's not wrong.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I'm just saying. Damn. We have nothing to worry about. A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? This is the Supreme Court of Japan or England? Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy. You and your friend know nothing. Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student. One who could arguably study harder, too. By standing here now in the Supreme Court, there is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Rip America. Well said. Despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brats. Thank you, Counsel. The court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system. It exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. A visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Britt.
So where's the pun?
I believe it's supposed to be like a play on Jezebel, which is a term as well as a name. But, yeah, do you like her hat?
It's a lot of fun. I remember seeing this. Because everybody's first reaction was what? When it starts honking.
Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan and from such a distant land. Yo, I hate how pandering he gets whenever he talks to Giselle. Tea. Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussion takes place without tea. Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at the Carnival, but my troop... Yes, we know all about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea.
At least we're honest.
I don't know if we're speaking Japanese to her, but it did state that we were taking English lessons, so I figure it's 50-50. More importantly, a little earlier you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of? Oh yeah, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply, a woman. Sorry, Yanasuke, your powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. Also, I have to feel like they're speaking Japanese to her, because if you go to study abroad in study abroad in Japan, and you go to a Japanese school, I feel like you need to know Japanese, right?
Just a bit.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's a phantom thief. Oh yeah, see? We are speaking Japanese to her. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but, what? The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student currently enrolled in UMA University's medical facility. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird song. Do hummingbirds sing?
They make noise.
I know that they make cute s'mores. Have you ever seen the video of the hummingbird song? It's cute. As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rally you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, to be honest, UK. How many transfers are there at this school? I don't fucking know, man. Because they stated that there were a number of English people, but only one English woman. And then again, it was like the industrial era, so I suppose sexism was a little bit more rampant. Court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at the restaurant called Le Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? Yay, sexism.
Hooray.
I'm gonna quote you on this. Out of context. She says, yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese?
Yes.
She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting. When you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print?
Like I got bullied.
Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. You mean to say, yes, it would appear that the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Order in the court. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? We have some absolutely conclusive witness statements. Well, looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Please put the katana away. Imagine being full of shit. Dog, that's like me after I eat a lot of cheese. Oh wait, I don't think that's what you mean.
Had to go there.
Unfortunately, I'll have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight. Witness testimony. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor wasn't able to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. This is condemning testimony. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Attention!
Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard. And look at this snow-white angel. Damn. I'm sure every dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine those words the court is going to believe. You're still making the same mistakes. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's the lesson you need to learn. Oh, but he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took the statements from this lady and the other two witnesses who testified before and reported back to the Bureau. Solid case, she obviously can't be the killer, she doesn't have a gun. Oh yeah, nothing under that poof can hide that gun, possibly.
It's not the poof, it's the goose.
The goose is the killer.
Honk.
The goose is on the loose. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person that she could conceal a firearm. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Her goose is about to be cooked. Unless it is hidden, unless and until the precise location of the witnesses to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witnesses' own words on the matter? This is ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Okay.
Here we go. Is this the goose?
Yeah, peace is never an option. Don't think about it doing anything rash. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. It must have been another gun that
Two guns?
You're right about that, which means the lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we need to pull our testimony apart. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. I had arranged to meet for a luncheon. The professor wasn't able to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the person. They got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right in front of her eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't take the culprit. Alright, we're gonna start with Never got into an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello. Please don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry. Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all sipiku ingurushu. I think he's supposed to say speak English in the most, like, questionably racist way possible. I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only the presence of a beautiful woman. Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that won't have our testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And then the next time you got up after that was when I'd finished my coffee and started to leave. Shut up.
Yes!
maybe don't use yes. I did not shoot that gun. And like I said, there's no point in repeating the assertion over and over. I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side. Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had that you had a gun in your hand, yep. But all I did was pick up the gun. In fact, yes, there was someone much closer to the victim than me at that time. It was right there. That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel. Dirty? Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy. It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours. Haha, what nonsense. The lady is merely... I assure you, it's quite based. The lady is merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway.
Yes!
It's all very well saying that. Can you prove it? Absolutely. I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes. Immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not." Police excellence, everyone! That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Why on earth not? The honorable English gentlewoman clearly stated she did not possess a weapon. There was very obviously no need to go further probing into the matter. Or
A murder just happened.
there was no permission given for further probing into the matter, perhaps. Think of what you will, but if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands you support your assertion with facts. In other words, he wants evidence. Oh, she's saying something now. Corruption do run deep. The lady wishes to point out that, of course, she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation, but she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to. Not to mention the fact that your officer told her to get the woman out of there. Not get her out of there. I was just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime. Which is why she was only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course. Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could have at least had the courtesy to pay attention when I'm voting. So she's maintaining. She's elegant, refined, beautifully dressed, and you're just in a black school uniform. Dude, I'm the same exact as you, except I don't have these flapping red ribbons.
They're fabulous flapping red ribbons.
Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose her. We can't do that, the trial's over. Alright. so we need to just press her on everything. Cool. So I didn't press her on the earlier two statements.
Yeah, good time.
Yes!
But he looks better in that uniform. Fuck you!
He do rock it more than you.
You do. I think the armband also helps, even if it feels a little questionable at times.
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are very en vogue, isn't that right? No. No. She actually says it in a... Indecisive English no has quite the sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research lab, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. Oh, was the steak found in front of the body? Yeah, that's going to be a thing to present at some point. I'm just not sure what I need to start presenting. Yes, we can prove from the medical report card. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic, and a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is. So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? The professor wasn't able to eat, so I ordered for myself a beef steak.
Yes!
He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he had just had a tooth removed. That's right. Was Miss Brett aware of this fact? It seems so, yes. She had heard the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak picture here, correct? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. And that's where we present the steak. You're on point, Jen. I just have to get to that point, otherwise they don't accept it. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that subjected you to this terrible plight. Goddamn, what a simp. Some carbonated water. The last statement of yours, Miss Brett. It has a profound bearing on the case. Well, how fascinating. Do tell us. The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well sidestepped, counsel. Very well, Miss Brett. Will you kindly repeat what you just said to be added to the official testimony? Gladly, she said. That was brilliant. I'm gonna remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I can really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that. Okay. Now we can press her as to why there's only one. I think probably the crime scene photograph is that. Yeah, because there's only one thing.
Yes!
Best hat award goes to her, though. Oh, you'll see, it gets better. That's
alive.
Yeah,
Alive.
it's alive. Just let me confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. It's just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, she says. Well, that is. It's odd. Very odd. Dear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express himself. Yes, okay, what about it? What's odd? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Well, Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, where's the other glass? Yeah. Ah. You're quite right, counsel. There's only one glass picture taken.
Objection!
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutiae? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Objection!
Minutiae, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try and tell me that you can clink with only one? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try and hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she was saying. Good gracious. Sorry.
Whoopsie,
Not
whoopsie,
sus
I
at all.
accidentally hid crime evidence.
There is, as I assured the court, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray? That is absurd. Oh, really? So we take it that you're now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief?
Dog already have.
What? No. This can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady had very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene. However, the fact remains that the glass has no bearing on the case. The student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You've wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed the glass. I think henceforth we consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? No, not really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. She took her way... Yeah. The handbag. Wait, the lady put a glass in her handbag, right? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. But she forgot to mention her handbag. Which would be perfect to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? Confusing the court with logical reasoning. Yeah, it's very simple. The gunshot we heard was the defendant. Was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire the gun, we can deduce that there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir. I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. Order, order, order. What is the meaning of this, Inspector? Once we get to the next witness testimony, we'll call it. But what is the meaning of what, Professor Ouchie? Why on earth did you have this lady open her handbag to show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma?
So, sorry, wrong mask. Is he gonna die mid-trial? This is getting aggressive.
Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Necessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence right here that I had completely forgotten about. So good at investigating. A photographic print of the lady's handbag. It's transparent.
How you forget?
You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, network bags like this are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Why was the bag left behind? It wasn't. She took it with her. It's just, he took the photo right after the gunshot at the scene for evidence.
What?
Yeah.
He took the photo.
Basically, after the person was killed, he rushed Ryanosuke into a broom closet, locked him in there, then took photos of the dead guy, of Neil, and of her handbag, and then whooshed her out.
This is not adding up to everything they've said about how she immediately left after the gunshot.
Oh, I know. It's going to get worse. That's the whole point. We're starting to unravel. We're hoping, thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san.
Big mood.
Order. Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence of this. Certainly, Your Excellency. This photograph of the handbag has been edited. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. The photographic print has no significance, and I am satisfied there is no longer any room for doubt in the matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. Who is a terrible person? I believe everybody on the prosecution side as a whole, but I'm assuming you're referring to Hosonaga. The person slumped over, the pathetic rookie slumped over on the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. Yeah, don't worry. We're going to be calling it shortly, and then we'll pick this up next week with a thrilling conclusion of this case as to who's the real killer. I'm just trying to get to a good stopping point. No. Just when I thought things were beginning to turn around. Let me see if I could pause it. Save it right here. Oh, yeah. With us getting declared guilty. Alright. Cool.
That's the next Sunday thing.
Yes.
So Tuesday, more Persona. Thursday, hopefully finishing up Dynamite. Next Sunday, more of this.
Murder mystery. We're gonna cook that lady's goose. Metaphorically. I don't know how good goose is. I've never eaten it.
Probably tastes like chicken.
Everything tastes like chicken. Either way, have a nice one. I know. Have a nice one. Let her cook. No. Letting her cook is what got us into this situation in the first place, Jen.
Anyway, see you Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.